Did you see that? Okay, whoa. What's going on here? Oh, I think I know. I finally got a Marshall stack. Kind of. When I first started playing guitar, all of the guitarists I looked up to were pictured playing Les Pauls into giant Marshall stacks. So to me that meant if I also wanted to be a real rock and roll guitarist, then I too would need to get a Les Paul and a giant Marshall stack. Ho ho ho! Almost 17 years later, Sweetwater made that dream a reality by sending me my first all-tube Marshall stack. This is the Marshall DSL-1 head into the MX-112 cab. Let's take this thing for a spin. Yeah, I couldn't wait. I wanted to try it out, so here's our actual initial impressions. I'm gonna go Les Paul straight in. I've got all the knobs up basically halfway, and we'll slowly ease in on the level here. It's like pretty loud, and I'm on like 3. That's gain at like 1. That's gain halfway. Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. Man, I should have got a Marshall a long time ago. Up until now, the only Marshall-style tones I've used have come from digital recreations from devices like this. And as you know, I'm a big proponent of modelers. I love them. I've toured with them, gigged with them, I've recorded with them. I think they're great. But now that we have a real all-tube Marshall amp in here, I think we gotta put it to the test and see if there's a real difference. I thought both tones were great, but the Marshall tube amp was the clear winner for me here. Not only is the experience better, you know, because you're playing on a real amp, so it's a little more dynamic, it's lively, it's exciting, you know, you're hearing it in the room, all that good stuff. But the tone was actually a little smoother, and I wasn't anticipating that. I really like that texture. It's really rich, and that smoothness is very flattering, so I think that's a big win. Now, to be 100% fair, I didn't have a true one-for-one comparison because there isn't a DSL-1 style amp in the Quad Cortex. So I went with their version of a Plexi style head going into a 412 cab with greenback speakers, you know, pretty quintessential classic Marshall setup. And not only did this amp hold its own, I think it punched above its class. Like, it really gives you that rich classic Marshall texture. Obviously, the only reasonable thing to do now would be to crank this thing to 11. 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, ultra gain on, 11. So that was pretty epic and probably the only tone you'll ever need. But in case you're looking for more than that, then I think this amp can do it too. So let's try pairing it with some effects. whatever reason, I always thought Marshalls were just this like big one-trick pony of that huge distorted sound. And clearly that's just not true. As you just heard, this DSL-1 can give you a nice edge of breakup tone, and when paired with pedals or a multi-effects or whatever you're using, you can get some pretty cool tones. I've played a lot of modeled Marshall tones over the years, and I've liked a lot of them, but there is something really special to plugging in and playing through the real thing. This DSL-1 amp is awesome. It's got that big, rich, quintessential Marshall tone. I think it actually provides a pretty good variety of tones, especially when pairing it with pedals, and it's plenty loud. For a 1-watt amplifier, this thing has tons of volume, so much so that I actually put it on the 0.1 watt setting for everything you heard today, and it was still really, really loud. Would I play with this amp live? I mean, I don't see why not. I think it sounds awesome, and I'm actually pretty excited to pair this with some of my other amps and get some cool stereo textures. Is it a Plexi or a JCM 800? I couldn't really tell you because I've never played on either of those, but it does nail that quintessential Marshall tone that I've been after since I first started playing guitar. Huge thank you again to Sweetwater for sending out this DSL-1 head and MX112 cab. If you want to check them out or learn more, I'm going to put a link to them in the description. It is an affiliate link, which is a way for you to help support the channel at no extra cost to you if that's something you're into. Otherwise, if you enjoyed the video today, I'd sure appreciate it if you leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Share a Marshall story down in the comments, and I'll catch you next time. Good job.